Imagine waking up one morning to discover that a country has been secretly building a weapon capable of destroying an entire city. Not in a movie. In real life, and the terrifying part, the world found out, and then did almost nothing about it. This is not a hypothetical. This happened. And the story behind what came next, the negotiations, the betrayals, the broken promises, is one of the most dangerous and misunderstood geopolitical stories of the last 50 years. By the end of this video, you will understand why the Iran nuclear deal was either the most important peace agreement of the modern era or the most catastrophic diplomatic mistake in history. And here's the thing nobody tells you up front. It might be both. But before we get there, we need to go back. Because the story of Iran's nuclear program doesn't start in the 2000s. It doesn't start with the Islamic Revolution. It starts with America itself. And that single buried historical fact changes everything you think you know about this crisis. In 1953, the United States orchestrated a covert coup that overthrew Iran's democratically elected prime minister. His crime? He nationalized Iran's oil industry, and America replaced him with a king loyal to Washington. And as a reward, America handed Iran its first nuclear reactor. The very country America would later accuse of nuclear weapons ambitions. America is the one who gave them the technology. Think about that. Fast forward to 1979. The Islamic Revolution erupts. The Shah is overthrown. And overnight, America's closest Middle East ally becomes its most dangerous enemy. The nuclear program that America helped build is now in the hands of a government that calls the United States the Great Satan. And here is where it gets complicated. Iran did not immediately restart its nuclear program. Khomeini actually called nuclear weapons un-Islamic, but then the Iran-Iraq War happened. Saddam Hussein used chemical weapons against Iranian civilians. Thousands died. And the international community looked the other way, because Saddam was America's ally. Iran was left to bleed alone, and Iranian leaders made one cold, calculated decision. Never again would they be defenseless. By 2002, the secret was out. A dissident group publicly revealed 2 hidden nuclear facilities. Satellite images confirmed them. And for the first time, the world faced a terrifying possibility. Iran was potentially months away from enough enriched uranium to build a bomb. The Bush administration reached for confrontation. Europe tried negotiation. Iran briefly paused enrichment. Then Washington refused to guarantee it wouldn't attack Iran even if it complied. The talks collapsed. Enrichment resumed. This pattern, getting close to a deal and then destroying it, would repeat for the next decade. Sanctions came next. United Nations resolutions, banking restrictions. The Iranian economy cracked. Inflation surged. Ordinary Iranian citizens couldn't afford medicine, and yet the nuclear program accelerated. Sanctions hurt the people. They did not stop the centrifuges. Then, in 2007, something shocking happened. America's own intelligence community, 16 agencies combined, concluded that Iran had halted its nuclear weapons program in 2003. Not slowed it, halted it. All the war talk, all the sanctions, built on an assumption America's own spies said was wrong. So what was Iran actually building? Here's the concept nobody explains clearly. Nuclear latency. The ability to build a weapon quickly if you choose to, without actually building one. Japan has this. South Korea has this. Brazil, Argentina. They have the technology, the enriched material, but not the weapon. And they face zero sanctions, because they are American allies. Iran's argument, buried under decades of propaganda, was that they wanted the same right every other country had. But here is the massive catch. Iran's leaders had called for Israel's destruction. Iran was funding terrorist organizations across the region. Even if the program was technically peaceful, the geopolitical context made it uniquely terrifying. Then 2013 changed everything. A new Iranian president was elected, Hassan Rouhani. Moderate, pragmatic, willing to talk. And in Washington, Obama's team had been running secret back channels for months. Quiet meetings in Oman, messages through Swiss diplomats. Then came the moment that shocked the world. Obama and Rouhani had a phone call. The first direct communication between an American and Iranian president since 1979. 34 years of silence, broken in minutes. 18 months of exhausting negotiations followed. Kerry and Zarif, 2 men who genuinely respected each other across an enormous political divide, negotiated through nights, sometimes for days without sleep. On July 14th, 2015, the deal was announced. Iran agreed to cut its enriched uranium stockpile by 98%, cut its centrifuges by 2/3, allow the most intrusive inspection regime ever negotiated. In exchange, sanctions would be lifted, billions in frozen assets released. And Iran's breakout time, the time needed to produce enough material for one bomb, extended from 2 months to at least 12. For 2 years it worked. Iran complied, inspectors verified. 2 deeply hostile nations, managing a crisis through diplomacy instead of war. Then came 2018. and everything fell apart. Trump called the deal the worst ever negotiated. His team withdrew from it, not because Iran had violated it. Every single inspection report confirmed compliance. They withdrew because they believed maximum economic pressure would force a better deal. What happened next was the opposite of everything they predicted. Iran's moderates were humiliated. Hardliners were proven right. And Iran began violating the deal, deliberately, systematically, provocatively. Enrichment levels climbed, advanced centrifuges were installed, inspector access was restricted, the entire architecture of transparency began to collapse. By the time Biden took office and tried to revive the deal, Iran's nuclear program had advanced further than it had ever been in history. Enrichment reached 83.7% purity, one step below weapons grade. Breakout time shrank from 12 months back to days. The IAEA declared Iran's program could no longer be fully explained by civilian purposes. The policy of maximum pressure had produced maximum nuclear capability. The country that was supposed to be squeezed into submission used the pressure to justify accelerating the very program the pressure was designed to stop. And here is the terrible, painful truth at the heart of all of it. There is no good option left. Military strikes would set the program back 2 to 3 years, while guaranteeing Iran rebuilds faster and abandons any pretense of civilian purpose. A new diplomatic deal faces a fundamental trust collapse. Neither side believes the other will honor commitments, and history has given both sides every reason for that belief. And living with a nuclear-capable Iran, a country that stops just short of the weapon but can build one in days, may be the least bad option remaining. That is not a solution. That is a managed crisis, indefinitely. The Iran nuclear story is not really about bombs and enrichment percentages. It is about what happens when decades of mistrust, domestic politics, historical grievance, and geopolitical fear combine to make rational decision-making nearly impossible. It is about how the fear of making the wrong deal can lead to a situation far worse than any deal would have produced. The most powerful country in the world spent 20 years trying to stop Iran's nuclear program, and the program is more advanced today than it has ever been. History rarely gives us clean endings. This one certainly will not.